Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or BJJ, is one of the fastest-growing martial arts in the world, but its story begins long before it ever reached Brazil. The roots of the art stretch back to ancient forms of grappling, practiced by warriors across multiple cultures, eventually evolving into the Japanese Jiu-Jitsu used by samurai on the battlefield. These systems focused on using leverage, joint manipulation, and positional control to defeat an opponent, especially when armored combat or close-quarters fighting made weapons impractical. Over centuries, these techniques refined and diversified, eventually contributing to the birth of modern judo. Under Jigoro Kano in Japan, an art that emphasized throws, ground control, and training for real efficiency. In the early 1900s, one of Kano's top students, a skilled judoka and prizefighter named Mitsuyo Maeda, began traveling the world to demonstrate the effectiveness of his grappling style. Maeda fought in challenge matches, taught seminars, and showcased his techniques to audiences everywhere he went. His journey eventually brought him to Brazil in 1914, where he continued teaching and performing demonstrations. It was here that he met a young man named Gracie, who became fascinated by the effectiveness of Maeda's fighting methods and began studying under him. Carlos absorbed Maeda's teachings and shared them with his younger brothers, most notably Gracie. While Carlos learned the techniques directly, Elio's contributions became one of the defining turning points in what would become Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Elio was physically smaller and not as strong as his brothers, so he adapted the techniques he learned, modifying them to rely even more heavily on timing, efficiency, leverage, and intelligent body positioning. Instead of brute force, he emphasized technique, making the art accessible to people of all sizes and abilities. These refinements gradually transformed the Japanese base into something new, a uniquely Brazilian style of submission grappling. In 1925, Carlos Gracie opened the first Gracie Academy in Rio de Janeiro, marking the formal birth of what would soon be known as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The Gracie family became known for issuing open challenge matches, testing their art in veil tudo, no rules, fights designed to prove effectiveness in real combat situations. These challenge matches helped build the reputation of the Gracie style and served as a real-world testing ground, where techniques that worked were kept, and anything ineffective was refined or discarded. As the decades passed, BJJ began to organize as a formal sport. The first official federation was formed in 1967 in Guanabara, introducing structured rules, point systems, and the modern belt ranking system. In 1973, BJJ was officially recognized as a sport in Brazil, and competitions became more formalized, drawing practitioners from all over the country. Even with sport regulations, the art retained its focus on technique, efficiency, and intelligent strategy, values that remain core to BJJ today. Although the art was well established in Brazil, the global explosion of BJJ came later, through mixed martial arts, as BJJ practitioners began competing internationally. Especially during the rise of modern MMA, the world witnessed smaller fighters defeating larger opponents using technique alone. Grapplers trained in BJJ consistently showcased the power of leverage, positional control, and submissions, and this effectiveness caught worldwide attention. Soon, BJJ gyms began opening across North America, Europe, and eventually every corner of the world. Today, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is practiced for self-defense, sport, physical fitness, personal development, and competition at every level. From children's classes to world-class tournaments, the art continues to evolve, with modern innovations such as no-gi grappling, new guard systems, advanced leg-lock games, and global training methods. But at its core, BJJ still carries the same philosophy that Gracie helped shape, that with proper technique, strategy, and leverage, a smaller or weaker person can overcome larger, stronger opponents. From ancient origins to samurai traditions, from Maeda's global travels to the Gracie family's innovations, and from small academies in Rio to the global stage of martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has become a worldwide movement built on discipline, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of improvement. Its history is still being written every day, by the millions of practitioners who step onto the mats, learn, struggle, and grow, carrying forward a martial art that has transformed lives around the world.